Boy, my head is melting. I can't even think clearly. I tell you, the drive home, I'm about to freaking pass out. Too much mental stress today, too much mentally overwhelming tasks I need to take care of. Well, I've got all my bits of wood taken care of. Tomorrow I'll be heading into the local community centre to use their woodwork area for the first time. Program guide. If you don't know what my videos are about, don't waste your time watching this one. I know my head's too mentally overwhelmed from the amount of tasks I had to take care of today. I can't even explain this time. I just need to do that timber thing and just fall into bed. This video I'm only going to do for anyone that may be watching my videos and following my progress, what I'm going through, the very long, difficult battle for homelessness and child custody and so on. So quick refresh, today was a big day. I went out and accomplished a lot of things. I'm pushing my brain injury, I can tell. I'm doing more than I should for myself. My head is freaking melting. I have way too much info in my head. Oh well, it's 4 o'clock and I might decide to focus on the task for the first time today of feeding myself. If any of you are saying duh, what you think you need a medal because you feed yourself? No, what I'm trying to explain in super short but isn't really possible unless you watch all my videos is I have intellectual disability, and all the fighting I'm doing to look after myself after becoming homeless, trying to get my money back in my 8-year relationship with my wife, and she kept 100% of our son and all our assets. I'm struggling incredibly every day, pushing myself to extreme mental limits with my brain injury to try and get back some of the things that are mine, which she's stolen from me illegally, including my son. I'm gonna go drop in my bed. I'm fucked, I tell you. Anyways, what's the point of the guy recording himself showing us this shit? I hear people saying, well, if you don't understand, you don't have to watch it, but anyone that's hung around and watched a few of my videos, I think this is what's happening to me in my life. What is happening to me in my life is a hell of a lot more interesting than watching those stupid bitches with a little poodle in their handbag live everyday life going shopping for clothes. I think my life is action-packed compared to those stupid bitches. Was it Paris Hilton? Ah yes, in the previous video when I was at Bunnings doing tasks, one of my NDIS workers rang me up to give me information, which I can't even recall instantly off the top of my head. I have some very severe short-term memory disability. I have to keep recalling everything I'm doing every minute of the day. It drives me nuts. I've been so mentally overwhelmed with tasks that I need to take care of today, which is too much for me, that I didn't even remember to feed myself until just now. Can't even remember what time it is. What is it? What did I say on the microwave? Did I say 5 p.m. or was it 3 p.m? Can't even concentrate. Anyways, when I was doing the previous video looking at the wood at Bunnings, gas bagging, and I had to end the recording, that was because my NDIS worker, one of them at least, there's two of them that are very devoted, the other ones are just like sheep herders. They just come around stereotypically to people's houses with severe disability, and they do things like clean your house or even help you have a bath or cook food for you and stuff like that. The level of help that I'm receiving from the NDIS, and to be eligible to receive it, they're telling me to let those staff members care for me and to do those things, but I'm refusing to because it's too demeaning. And if a person like me suggested that they want their son back and they want to look after their son, they can't have people wiping their backside and cleaning their house and doing their dishes and cooking their food, in my opinion. I would rather be homeless and be suggestively eligible to look after my son, better than that of an average person, than to have NDIS workers caring for me, which I would agree as a judge, if the person needs to receive that and the government money and benefits for that, then this person suggestively wouldn't be good enough to raise their child. I don't want to allow that to happen. So I'm going to keep telling my NDIS provider to stop giving me this level of funding and to stop sending staff members around my house to do basic everyday duties. And I'm going to keep telling them, if you do that, I'm never going to have a judge let me have my son back. And my wife is taking advantage. My wife of 8 years is lying in court horrifically, making me do all sorts of stamp things to prove that I'm not what she says so that I can have my son back. She's very smart and manipulative. She's a magician at paperwork. Me and my wife even had a stalker once. Seriously, we did. He's still going. He's been going for close to a decade. If you don't believe me, go to YouTube and type in Action Dan Stalker and watch my video series. It's unrelated to this series. I've been doing it for years, and it's about a horrific stalker that me and my wife had. She took care of it for us in getting restraining orders against the stalker, Andrew Adam Eddington, in South Australia. And it kept the guy away from my wife and me and our son when we were together. But unfortunately, after the separation between me and my wife, I was no longer eligible to be protected by the restraining order that my wife had gone to extraordinary efforts to establish between all three of us, wife, me and my son, from the stalker who calls himself Adam. It kept him away for 2 years, but then when me and my wife become separated, I had to do something to keep my end of the restraining order active. And my wife and her lawyer, they said, your wife is leaving you, so herself and your son, they will be protected by her ongoing restraining order that she originally did. She's going to re-establish the details and the terms and conditions of her restraining order against Adam, and that will protect your wife, or ex-wife, and your son. But you, Danny, you have to do it for yourself now. Because your wife has left you, you are not protected by the original form of restraining order against Adam any longer. You will need to contact a lawyer and go about creating your own restraining order against the stalker Adam. And what I told them instantly I was worried about and what would happen did come true. I knew it. I knew with my memory disability and my inability to do paperwork and remember and retain the information in the paperwork and to collect documents and keep them filed, I knew I wouldn't be able to do the restraining order, reactivating it against the stalker Adam on my own. And I was correct. About, I don't know, quick wild guess, 2.5 or 4 months went by after my wife's lawyer told me to look after myself and to reactivate my own restraining order against Adam. I couldn't do it like I knew, and it didn't get done. And the stalker psychopath with no life to live for 10 years but stalking me and my wife, the very same day that he had to go to court against my wife and have his restraining order reactivated in new terms and conditions, my one kind of, what's the word for it? You know, like forfeited, expired, became obsolete. Can't think of the correct word. And my end got thrown in the bin because I didn't reactivate it in time, because I didn't understand the instructions on how to do it because of my memory disability. And the piece of shit stalker, Andrew Adam Eddington, who calls himself Adam, he is such a psychopath that pretty much the moment he left the court building, he pretty much instantaneously, within 50 minutes, 50 minutes of the restraining order he'd had in place, protecting me from him for 2 years, within 50 minutes he rang me up and started harassing me ever since. He calls me an average of about 4 times every single day for the last nearly 10 years. He's an absolute loser psychopath who has nothing better to do with his life but to be incredibly jealous of myself, which was my successful life with hobby business, my wife, son, a beautiful wife, personal belongings. He was highly jealous. Speedboat. But now I'm homeless. My wife stopped doing my paperwork, looking after me. Quickly re-established herself with a new guy at a new church and left me and everything else behind. She has 100% of all my personal belongings, even the stuff I had before I met her. And I'm starting at the bottom of the pile in a hole, kind of like 2 meters underneath earth level. And I'm trying to crawl myself out of the hole, which I've kind of just stuck my head out the hole now, and I'm becoming back to beginning of what could be considered a low-level normal life. And today's with how mentally overwhelmed I am by my memory disability and brain injury. All the things that I need to do to get my son back and to deal with this stalker and get employment, it's tremendously too much for me. I swear on the life of my son, I've done too much today. I can't handle it. My head is killing me. I've got a lot of head pain. And if I kept pushing myself, doing this for 5 days straight, I'd probably have my first epileptic seizure in 16 years and then have to mess around with getting my driver's license back again and so on. So I'm going to make myself stop thinking right now. If you watched my previous videos, you'll know what I'm talking about. If you don't know who I am, don't waste your time watching this. And I apologize for wasting your time. This video itself may not be very interesting, but it's all over. If you keep watching these and see what I do in a daily life struggle, I think you would be shocked at what I have to go through. I do have to grow 6 arms and get a 3rd leg before I can complete all this bullshit tasks and paperwork to get my minimum rights to my property, my money, 8-year relationship with my wife, and my son back. She's evil. I can't believe she's done this to me, breaking the law so much, thinking I would never be intellectually capable enough of understanding how to do the paperwork to reply to any of her false claims and to get my minimum rights returned to me with property and minimum rights to my son in minimum rights to child custody. I think if you're a normal, average person, or even we'll call you a 6 out of 10, a slightly above average person, go ask your friends and I bet they'll tell you the same thing. And they'll say that when you go through a separation settlement and child custody, it's mind melting. So how does the dude with severe short-term memory handle it? Exactly, he can't. My head is killing me. The microwave's ringing, telling me to eat food for the first time today, and it's something like 3 or 6 p.m. I can't even think straight to know what time of day it is that I said earlier in this video. I'm going to lie down, feed myself, have a power nap, have a drink, and then prepare myself for tomorrow, going out to make wooden frames for my paintings. And it's because my NDIS providers are telling me a judge in the future isn't going to give you your son back as much unless you have your life fully established. So get your full-time employment, continue with your professional painting, doing portraits of people, try and sell them even if you don't want the money, because one, they said to me, you need the money for your son to have a judge give you respect to get a form of custody in the future. And even if you don't get your son, you need to keep doing your painting if you're skilled at it to control yourself from going mentally insane from sitting in a dark room like this and just rotting like a lot of people. A lot of people with intellectual disability and get heartbroken by their previous partners, they just become drug abusers and alcoholics, and they just stay in a dark, shitty bedroom like this, and they just decide to let themselves rot. This is a shitty house. It's an emergency accommodation house, but I know it's the best I can get, so I'm going to take it, and I'm going to ask my NDIS provider that I received this letter in the mail, and I'm going to say to her the next time I see her, what the fuck is this $200,000 government money? That's freaky. What are you meant to do for me that cost $200,000 estimates in a year? The way things are going, it's going to be $400,000 soon. What on earth? When my NDIS plan started, it was something like a mere, can't even remember, 16, maybe $26,000 maximum in a year. Now I got a piece of paper saying someone's getting paid something, some budget is 200 grand. Are you for real? Someone can't just give me a job at Coles? If anyone out there in South Australia is watching this video, I'm in the bottom left of Adelaide on the map. So what's that? So northeast, southwest. I'm in the southwest corner, just outside Adelaide City. If you know anyone that's willing to give the poor dude with severe short-term memory disability a job and work full-time tomorrow and get my money to get my son back and get a better lawyer and get my property settlement sorted out for the first time in 2.5 years, please post a comment down below and let me know. I need a job, I need money, I need my son back. Tomorrow I'm going to wake up and keep myself occupied and make my wooden frames for my paintings. And my NDIS provider took me to an art gallery just yesterday, and the level of arts that him and I both agreed, and yes, I know he can humour me, but he didn't. He is quite a smart guy. He thought that my paintings were worth a minimum much higher than myself. I thought if I had the least amount of confidence and I assumed that I could exaggerate my capabilities in art and my level to its maximum, and I downstepped and downstepped. If I was only 40% of the artist that I think I am, and my paintings were even half as good as some of these other paintings I was seeing at the art store we went to, then I can make a lot of money from selling my paintings, because me and the guy agreed that at worst possible case scenario, that my paintings were about better than 60% of the paintings there being sold, which sometimes were disgustingly basic and pathetic. They're just people throwing a few splashes of paint on it. Yes, maybe they have an established art career. Maybe they have a name for themselves. But unquestionably, any fuckwit could do what these paintings were, some of them that we saw. This blotted paint is pathetic. And they're selling for $5,000. Yes, I understand the artist is probably established, so they can charge that much. But there's no way on earth that my paintings won't level with at least a mid-level point. Both him and I agreed that I'm about 60% level, above halfway of what we saw down there. And the average price at about the 60% mark is about $3,400 suggestively. So me selling my paintings for something like $2,800 each should be very easy by what we saw, if we're correct. And selling my paintings for my idea of, to start with, of $1,600 is suggestively not enough and might make them have less respect for me if I ask for such a low amount, which I thought was a reasonable price to ask and a good amount of money to earn. Sorry for anyone that gets pissed off watching this video and doesn't want to hear this guy gasbagging about his shit life. I don't have time to explain. This is a long series that I'm going to do. I make about 4 videos every single day. I can't be embarrassed anymore after how much my wife has destroyed me, abused me, and taken every part of my life away from me, including my son. I just have nothing left to lose. I have no fear, I have no dignity, no secrets. I think my life is so shit, I'm just going to start showing it daily. And I think the crap that I'm having to go to is more difficult and more damaging to go through than what that dude in Angela's Ashes went through, which is one of my favourite novels and movies of all time. But I swear again on the life of my son, I reckon I've been through more than twice as much shit as that guy. And so much I can't even talk about it. It's too complex, it would take too long, it would take many hours. My microwave is reminding me to shut up and eat my very late lunch for the second time, so I'm just going to die in bed after having a quick curry rice snack. And when I wake up tonight, I'm going to do a little bit of my paintings, maybe show you that on video. And tomorrow will be a much more interesting video back at the community centre. I will show you myself for the first time getting to do something productive for the first time since I was made homeless recently. The first time in about 2 or 3 weeks, I will be able to start professionally making my wooden frames for my paintings again. And I'll keep you up to date about how one of the NDIS workers, a smart guy, is helping me sell my paintings professionally for the first time. He's already lined up one place that's accepted me with a long application process. And yesterday he took me to another place, I think it was on the Parade in South Australia, Adelaide. And that art store said that they were happy to sell my artwork as well. So now there's 2 places that want to get my paintings. They're just hesitant on if the quality of what I can produce is consistent and good enough to keep going. They said like they're happy with my quality of work, but because I'm an unestablished artist, they need me to hand in a number of paintings, 6 or 10 at the same time, before they're willing to begin selling my work, because they need to know that my level of art is consistent and not just a random point in life or a one-off fluke. So tonight I will try and continue working hard to do my painting. Not so much because I like the painting. I only do my painting because I'm in such extreme anxiety and depression missing my son that it's the only thing that stops me from feeling like committing suicide. And I hope my wife isn't evil to get these videos one day and produce this in court to keep my son away from me. She's terribly evil. I'm just trying to keep myself occupied. Alright, sorry guys. Again, for the 100th time, if you're randomly browsing the internet, you won't be interested in watching this dude talk to himself. But if you've watched a few of my videos and you subscribed and you're watching them, you will have much more understanding of what I'm going through on a daily basis. It'll be tremendously more interesting to watch, and you will understand exactly what I'm talking about with all my ramble, and you'll have a lot of feeling involved in it, knowing that this guy's life story is very, very interesting. There's a lot of random details, a lot of tremendous things that most people will not go through in their entire lives that I'm having to go through and face. And I think if I ended up getting employed as a professional artist and got a normal full-time job somewhere else, doing something very typical outside of the art, and finally produced a video showing you guys that I got my first house and finally got back my son visit for the first time, breaking down crying, I think all this would be far more interesting than to any average person in the end than that movie, Angela's Ashes. So you can think I'm full of shit, or you can understand what I'm talking about. You can think whatever you want, but my life is definitely up and down like a yo-yo, and it's not normal. It's either extremely high level depressing, violence, crime, illegal court actions placed against me by myself, my wife taking horrific advantage of my abusive advantage of my intellectual disability, not being able to protect myself, falsely incriminated, false claims with child custody, keeping 100% of all our assets, even my own, long before we met. It's a nightmare. It's quite a movie. You guys can think I'm full of shit, whatever you want, but I do honestly believe that when I've made guesses in the past about how my life will turn out in the future, with all the things I've had to go through and all the things I've had to survive, I have been pretty spot on, like 80% accurate of what will happen to me in the future. And if I manage to start selling my paintings professionally, and I can hire someone to to kind of interview me and ask me questions, and I tell them my life story and all the things I had to go through, I'm willing to take the chance of embarrassing myself and say that I think my novel would be purchased by someone if I had a professional writer, which I can't do, write out the neat and tidy, well-grammared novel of my life, with them just coming back to me every few weeks and gaining more chapters, information about terrible moments in my life, like learning to talk again with speech impairment and removal of a brain tumor and homelessness and suicide and good jobs and bad jobs and lots of money and no money and excellent house and homelessness. Yeah, I think the novel would be really good. So post your comments down below. Let me know if anyone's watching these a number of times, if anyone's beginning to understand my life from watching at least maybe 3 or 4 videos. What do you think? Do you feel sorry for me? Do you think I'm a hard-working guy? Do you think I'm a nutcase? Do you think I'm full of shit? Do you not understand anything I'm talking about? Do you understand everything I'm talking about? I need some help from you guys out there and some motivation to keep going, because all the tasks that I have to do each day are incredibly mentally overwhelming. Anyways, I'll go now. Time to feed myself, power nap, go to sleep, wake up and continue my paintings I'm trying to sell professionally for a suggested starting price of $2,200. Let's see what happens, if this guy's full of shit, or if in a few videos from now, video number 80, if I'm wearing a nice suit and tie and professionally selling my paintings in an auction for $6,000 or something. Let's find out. Thank you guys. Please like and subscribe, and thank you for the people giving me understanding, positive comments, explaining that they go through similar things in life themselves. Just the tiniest little comment from someone out there trying to give me motivation to keep going, and the tiniest comment from someone telling me that I'm not alone and that other people go through stuff like this. It's impossible to explain in short, but it gives me a tremendous amount of strength to keep going. So thank you, nice people, and fuck you, stereotypical 23-year-old young male Australian arrogant dick who just wants to jerk off while posting negative comments to people when they don't even understand what they're talking about. Bye guys, love yous all.